Go. Go.
Yeah. We're here at sunny New Plymouth with Jonathon Young, the National Party candidate from Plymouth. How's the day been, Jonathon?
It's been great, David. We've been out delivering leaflets in the rain, but now we've got blue skies, so we're going to have a better day today. And later in this week, we're running streets around different suburbs, and so we're inviting just the rest of. Last week we had one at Okura, had 50 people up, which was fantastic. And the other night at Fitzroy, pretty strong Labour area and a lot less, but it was a good night, good vibe.
Now, what are the locals telling you is the big issue for them this election?
Well, big issues here tend to be things such as the Waikato Bridge, the road north. People always grumbling. Harry's been saying about that, you know, that all on track, but everybody's saying it's far too slow, and one of the big issues. An issue that's popped up a while ago is the possible LNG in port, and that's just popped up again, and that's going to be pretty much alive between now and election day, I think.
Now, this is your first time as a candidate, but what's your earliest involvement in politics?
I think my earliest involvement in politics would have been when I was about the age of 7, and I remember going to Parliament House and walking into the big foyer, the old lift, and I've been introduced to Sir Keith Holyoake and shaking his hand, and I will never forget that moment. It was one of those sort of defining moments.
Of course, your father was Ven Young, who served in Parliament.
That's right.
During those times, do you remember first meeting Muldoon?
Actually, I do.
Good stories of people's first Muldoon meeting.
I remember Muldoon, Rob Muldoon coming home and speaking in Hara one weekend and staying over. And I can always remember a very funny event. I was actually 16 at the time, about to head down to Palms North for the weekend. I was going to be a student down there, going to check out the place. Rob Muldoon and my dad were inside with a reporter. I backed out of that garage, straight into the reporter's car, smashed it up, went inside and said to my dad with Rob beside him, "Look, I've just had an accident," and I cannot believe how gracious my father was at that moment. I think it's always a good occasion to sort of give bad news to your parents when their boss is there.
I think Mr. Muldoon would have enjoyed you hitting a journalist's car.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're looking internationally. 3 days before New Zealand election, we've got the United States election. If you could vote, would you be voting Obama or McCain?
Well, I actually think that that McCain represents solidarity from the past, and Obama represents imagination for the future. And I think that people will go for imagination. And you know, the thing is that here in New Zealand, you know, National are presenting an imagination for the future, a bright future. Labour are presenting, look at our track record from the past. And so I sort of think that if people are looking to the future, you know, let's look at National, let's look at what John's going to present.
Okay, now, under the MMP, we only get to tick one party, the party we want to vote for. But if you could rank the parties from top to bottom, what would be the party of all those registered, it doesn't have to be one in Parliament, that you would least vote for, that would be your bottom choice?
I think I would least vote for the Green Party. And probably because I think that it's going to be very difficult to really get ahead in New Zealand under their leadership. I think there's some practicalities or pragmatism that's lacking. At the same time, I think that National do take on board the concerns of the Greens. Sometimes I hear some of the comments that come from Greens, and I think that's just not real. That's not the reality of what the situation is, and they do cause people to swing because of concerns which I don't think are going to actually turn up.
Yeah, and the final question, Gough or Cunliffe?
Aha! I think Cunliffe.
Look, thank you for your time, Jonathon. Good
Great.
luck.
Thanks, David. Great to see you here in New Plymouth.